Hello everyone, welcome back to the Constellation series. This month we are in Scorpio. I get asked, very often actually, why don't I do digital art? Why don't I do everything like on an iPad or something like that? Why do I hand draw all of my work? First of all, I enjoy the process. I think it's really important, no matter what type of work you're endeavoring, enjoy the process as much as you can. For me, I'm very tactile. I need to feel the vibration of the lead on the page. I need to hear it. I like to be able to make adjustments. I can take measurements right as I'm working. I don't have to worry about, I'm zoomed in or so on and so forth. I really enjoy the act, the almost communion with the materials at hand of drawing everything out by hand. And then I get my shading in. I'm able to do that gradient and create the three-dimensional illusion, primarily for the client, but a little bit for my own enjoyment. On designing Scorpio, it's always a tough decision. How literal do I want to become? How literal do I want to capture the sign, right? The actual sigil of the sign, the animal or the object. And I wanted my scroll work, the very abstract movement, to at least give a little wink, maybe a little nod to the symbol itself. Now, I don't know about all of you, but working in a shop under a tin roof in the rain, even though that, working with steel, I'm trying to outrun rust, oxidation, moisture, even though it's highly inconvenient for my work, there's just something about it. There's something about being cozy and dry. Meanwhile, there's a storm going down. There's cozy rain. The earth is getting rejuvenated with much needed water and sustenance. Seeds are beginning to split and grass is beginning to grow. You've heard me talk about these sculpture bases plenty. Let me shut my big mouth for a second and let you just enjoy what it feels like to be in my workshop while it's raining. I don't know if you're noticing a pattern here between hand-drawn blueprints to a handmade product. We live in a very instant gratification world, right? You click a button and those socks that came from Indonesia happen to arrive at your door the next day. An amazing luxury. When it really comes to tangible objects, there's nothing like handmade. There's so much time that takes place. It's not fast. Handmade has never been fast. We live in a very fast world, but it's between point A and point B. I feel like there's so much time and meditation on honing something. There's almost like a mantra of working out the kinks, getting things better, because you're not only sculpting the material, whatever medium that you choose, it's also kind of sculpting you into something better. It sharpens you. So get to work. Enough about philosophy, right? Enough of that. Back to the anvil, forging out scrolls. Design for Scorpio, I had a lot of fun thinking, how can I recreate the kind of scorpion's tail in my usual sensibility that I'm encoding in all of these sculptures that are all very cohesive with each other. And I kind of had a little eureka moment with not so much the claws, this sculpture's kind of a perspective piece up on its side. But as that tail curves around, there's that venom bulb. And I used a cross peen hammer, so vertical peen, cross peen, right? To knead, almost like dough, to knead and spread that material out directionally. If I were to just strike it on my hammer face, it goes equilaterally across the planes. But with a cross peen, I'm directing the material where I want it to go. Think of clay between your palms versus between your fingers. If I squeeze that piece of clay, it's gonna go outwardly, laterally, from side to side. That's what I was doing with the steel. Got the tail all forged up. It's a very eccentric, very dramatic forging. Loved it so much. It was a very fun piece to create. And then I finished it out, as I very often do, on the ring. The ring allows me to get the utmost control and really sweeping that thing out really nice. I forged both the tail and the ending scroll on the opposite side separately. For it was a unnecessary challenge to forge them all out of one piece of bar. That piece of bar would have been every bit of 7 feet long, and trying to get that tail exactly what I needed to do with another 6 feet of material behind me, trying to get that, it would have been an unnecessary headache. Meanwhile, I can bind them together when the sculpture starts taking shape. Yet again, the technical drawing really comes in handy for placing these objects exactly where they needed to go. But it takes a lot of brain work. Not only to draw it down on 2 dimensions, but this is a very 3-dimensional object because these stars are not just a flat plane. They're not just a dome ceiling above us. They are wildly 3-dimensional. You also keep that in mind when you're going from 2 dimensions to 3 dimensions, because if this scroll is then be coming at you, even if it just does this, it's not just the 8 inches right here, it's also the other 12 coming at you. So there's a lot of brain work that I feel like is a muscle that you work out. That is, 3-dimensional awareness is a skill, not a gift. Upon forging and getting everything into place, sometimes it's not perfect. Sometimes I have to whip the rosebud out, put some centralized heat where I need it, and do some minor adjustments to make sure everything planes in exactly where I want it to go. I've mentioned this in the past. When it comes to these steel sculptures, even though I'm doing these sweeping lines that feel like they're suspended by gravity, they cannot wobble. Steel is not supposed to move, especially in a sculpture, especially in a public space. You can't have a spring boinging around. You just can't. It's not a good look. So sometimes I have to add in structure, and I designed it knowing, thanks to 20 some odd years, I know what's going to be boinging around. So I put, in technical terms, very anti-boinging struts. I put in webs, but the webs need to also be part of the sculpture itself. I can't just put in a strut for a structure and not have it part of the overall piece itself. So I cut out these lovely, almost like gills, webs. I want it to feel aquatic, like the sign is. And you'll notice that in a lot of our water signs is you'll see this webbing. I want to kind of wink and nod to the element itself, not only through the glass, but the actual construction itself. I don't really have a favorite color. I have colors that I really love and are dear to me. But if I were to choose a tone, it would definitely be those cool colors, those blues and those kind of aquatic greens. They're just so beautiful. It's very reminiscent to the light that an arc weld gives off. It's just this lovely aquatic blue, cerulean, if you will. I love it so much. And when I'm working with this bluish glass, this water glass, I don't know, it's very spectacular. It's very beautiful, especially coupled with rusted oxidized steel. When I capture this glass into steel rings, it's done so by a weld, and that weld is liquid. So it's into 3,000 degrees and you have cold glass. I don't know about you, but that is a recipe to broken glass. Huge temperature differential. You have thermodynamics going crazy. So I have but like a second to weld and cool it into some water, but not too quickly because that could also shatter the glass. It's like riding the pendulum between too cold, too fast, too hot, too fast, and vice versa. Once all the glass is captured into steel, then it's all about getting everything on the nice straight plane, mainly facing you so you know where to look at this constellation, which way is front, and getting everything in the right spot. Everything has to be exactly what that constellation is and all the scientific resources that I use to design it. It never gets old. It never gets old peeling back the tape, seeing the luminous glass taking shape with all the steel now done, and then all that's left is to install it. Yet again, another sculpture goes at the top of Mount Olive, over at the Allegretto, here in Paso Robles. Here in Paso Robles, California, where I'm trying to get more art here in my hometown. And this is a great way to do it. And thanks for the Allegretto for allowing me to adorn this beautiful resort in art. And it joins 3 other constellations up at the top of Mount Olive. It's beautiful up there. I'm not only grateful for the Allegretto Resort, but I'm also deeply grateful for all of you, every single one of you. You know, being able to share these journeys with all of you, and there are so many more to come. Being able to, you know, hand in hand, go on adventures of building things, making the world a little bit more beautiful together is a real gift, and it's a gift from all of you. So thank all of you. Thank you for watching.